This is the last in the series of gear videos. So if you are a subscriber that is only subscribing for the food videos, the next one will be a food video. So this is the last in the series. This is also not a video that's for everybody. This is something that I use in the wintertime as my shelter. During the spring, summer, fall, I sleep in a hammock, usually. But one of the things that I have absolutely grown to love that I thought I would hate over the years is using a bivy. And so this is my ACU U.S. military surplus. Where's my label proving it? Somewhere in here. There we go, the little label proving it. U.S. Army surplus ACU Digital Bivy. And one of the things I love about using this, I am a lazy backpacker. I love just getting to where I'm going to sleep, taking this out of the backpack, no stuff sack or anything, just taking it out, throwing my sleeping bag in, and I'm done. Everything is set up. When I wake up, I take my sleeping bag, shove it in my pack, shove this into my pack, I'm done, nothing to set up. Now, a couple of things. One is I wouldn't normally take this out if it was raining out, because I might bring a tarp or something like that. But if it was just like raining all day long, it's kind of hard to set it up in the rain. Obviously, it's going to get wet a little bit, your sleeping bag and things like that. I have brought it out and tested it in the rain just to see how waterproof it was. 2 weekends ago, we were having reports for horrible weather. It was supposed to be pouring all night long, 50 mile per hour winds, and I was like, that sounds like a great time to go out and test this. So I went out and found a field, plopped it in the middle of the field, simply because I was absolutely scared that the trees were going to collapse on me. It was definitely a night where I would not have voluntarily slept in the woods. I mean, it was so, again, up to 50 mile per hour gusts. And I plopped this down in a clearing and put myself in it. And I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure I can declare it to be waterproof. I'm also pretty sure I can't declare it to breathe very well. But again, it didn't breathe very well because maybe I was being poured on all night, and how much could it breathe? So when I woke up in the middle of the night and I woke up in the morning, there was quite a bit of condensation on the inside. I did have to take it home and flip it inside out and let it, dry out. But I wasn't soaked. I mean, I definitely in my lifetime have woken up in tents a whole lot more wet than I had woken up in this. So while there was a lot of moisture and the outside of my sleeping bag definitely was, wet, my sleeping bag wasn't soaked. My insulation continued to keep me warm, and my clothes were actually all dry. But it was crazy sleeping in this. Sorry, I know this video is not on this particular story, but let's make it this way for another minute. It was crazy sleeping in this where, it's basically right on, where's the top layer here? Right on top of your face. And you know how awesome it is to kind of sleep in a tent with the rain hitting the tent? When it's hitting this and it's that far from your head and the wind was blowing, it was crazy, but it was pretty awesome. So this kept me totally safe in that sort of environment. So I would definitely trust it in just some normal rain. Some of the good things about this sucker. So, just like some of the other videos, I forgot to weigh it. Let me go weigh it and I'll be right back. All right, so this weighed in at 29 ounces. And if you are a bivy person, you're probably saying, well, that's a little bit heavy. And sure, it is. But as a budget backpacker, these 29 ounces cost me $34. So this is secondhand, and you can buy one of these brand new for $80. And for secondhand, really the only thing I was able to find wrong on it is, I don't know if that's in the camera or not, but you can see how I'm taking a wild guess that those are some pine sap stains that are on the bottom of this. So whoever used this, got some sap on it. But other than that, I can't find a single other flaw or even abrasion. And again, it is, almost 2 pounds, but everything is rock solid about this. And if you read the reviews about the guys who have used these in the military, they throw a lot of respect to these things. The zippers are rock solid, So easy to use. Like even at night when I woke up another time, I was just kind of like, sleeping, and as long as you can reach for the string, you just pull it and you don't have to worry about anything catching. It does have a series of buttons, so you don't have to zip yourself in. You can just button it. And the way that I used it the other night was, if I can just show this to you. Great product review video, huh? So professional. Glad I wrote this script and got everything set so you can see what I'm actually talking about. So the way that this is set up is this is the bottom of the bivy right here. The zipper goes down to there. So the zipper probably goes about halfway. And so what I did is I put my sleeping bag in. I opened it up. I literally flapped it open so the whole top of my sleeping bag was not covered by the bivy. And I slept like that at under 10 degrees up until about 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up just a little bit on the edge chilly. And so I reached over, grabbed the bivy, threw it over me. I didn't even button it up or zipper it. I just threw it over me. And at least in my head, I warmed right up. It seemed like it made a difference. And so I've seen people say that this is going to add anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees to your sleeping bag, and I'm prone to believe that. So again, if you don't want all of the condensation, you can just button it, so that would allow for more airflow. And only once did I ever sleep with this where it was fully over my head and everything kind of battened down, and that was that night of the huge storm. On that day, I definitely had it all the way over my head. Now, I am 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, and I would say that on that night, it was almost a little bit impractical based on my size. I know I've seen people say like, oh, they've used this, they're larger people, they put their sleeping bag in it. I find that a little hard to believe, unless I was just, maybe at night I had somehow shifted so that I moved around. But I know that when I had it over the top of my head, there was not much room in there at all. But again, how many times would you actually need that? I do put my sleeping bag on the outside. I mean, not my sleeping bag. I put my sleeping pad down, and then I put the bivy on top. I have tried to sleep in it with the sleeping bag inside. I have tried to sleep in it with my sleeping pad on the inside. But again, with a winter sleeping pad, I did find it to be a little confining, a little bit tight. And so I definitely prefer the sleeping pad underneath it. Again, if you read the online reviews, you're going to find that people say this is indestructible. You're not going to have to bring a ground pad. You can just throw this right onto the pad. There's plenty of reviews about people that have owned these for years and they're still waterproof. While this is old, I cannot say that I've put days and days and days of use and days of rainstorms with it. But the amount of time I've had it, I have loved it and highly recommend it. Again, just for the simple ease. And especially if you're going in the winter, generally you're not going to have rain in the winter. And so even if it was just some snow or just the cold temperature, I think this would do just fine.